Okay, sorry, I forgot to unmute myself. Steve was gonna yell at me.
But we're here now. We're
Well,
live.
we are live, and you can see we have a very different new thing. And I just want to shout out all the hard work Steven put into this. It looks really good.
I know, yeah, Steven, we're joking that he is our Gen Z lesbian that intern that we have been kind of that's been an inside joke amongst us since the beginning of the podcast because we suck at social media bits and tech and all that stuff. And then Kelly started dating Steven, and he is the Gen Z lesbian of our dreams.
It's so true. It's so true. 2 in 1 package.
But really, he's definitely taken all of this to an insane level, and could not thank him enough. It's crazy. We didn't expect all this, and he's just got it.
No, when he started doing it, I was just thinking like, okay, I'm gonna have the chat up, and then you guys like this and blah blah. And I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds cool. Then I saw all the stuff he was doing, and I was like, whoa, this is dope.
Like, oh, I guess he really likes you that he's doing all this stuff like for
that.
you. Yes. Gross, disgusting boys.
Okay, enough of that. Enough of that.
Enough of the cute stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway.
Anywho, welcome back, watchers. I'm Kelly Appel.
And I'm Katie Stressett, and we are watching Out Loud. And you, bad girl, you have to follow the script.
Like, follow, and subscribe to our channel. You can also give us a follow on Instagram, Letterboxd at Watching Out Loud, or you can always shoot us an email for recommendations at watchingoutloudpod@gmail.com. Don't ask for an interview. We're not going to do it.
Unless you're so interesting and like a really famous actor or something really cool.
Which seems far-fetched.
Which seems far-fetched and probably wouldn't happen. But at the same time, if it does happen, we will respond to those emails.
We will, yes.
But yeah, so today we are talking about, it's our first anime that we are doing a full episode for, the 1997 film Perfect Blue, which was one that you wanted to do specifically.
Yes.
You recommended the movie to me, so.
Yeah, that's another Steven offshoot. So
look at him. This is a Steven produced episode. Productive. Yeah. So yeah, I think we should still do the first time we watched it, first impressions, blah blah blah. So when did you first watch it and your experience?
My experience.
Experience.
Yeah, we saw it because they did a remaster of it and then re-released it in theaters. So we saw that back in September, and I remember like going into it, and I didn't really know anything about the movie. And it was so cool I will say it was such a cool thing to get to see it on a big screen, because I think that made it even like more intense and more good.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
We got a lot of people tuning in all of a sudden. They're all here. We say hi to D2 Kyle. Hi to George. I'm not saying that full handle. That's crazy. And to the real Chiseler.
But yeah, I really liked it, and I remember the whole time watching it, I was like, what the fuck's going on? What's real? What's fake? What the fuck's going on? And then I remember when we got out of the theater, I like, normally I have to kind of like digest it, but I really liked this movie, even though it was like so much going on and so intense. And I really think I used to not like animes very much. I watched some animes, but it wasn't something I sought out. But I was thinking, and there's things about animes that allow for, I think, stuff that like a real live action film can't do.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so I think this being, in part, I did already like some of his other films. I did see Paprika, which was like kind of random. I saw it a long time ago when it came out, because it was at the theater when I worked there, and I was like, this movie's a fucking trip, but the soundtrack was really good, like insanely good. So that's cool. What made me watch the movie. And yeah, he just does, everything I've watched of his I've really liked. But So then I said, yeah, we should do an episode on this, and now we are. So what was your first impression watching it?
Yeah, so I think that you gave me like not a lot of insight into what the film was going to be about, but just like a taste ahead of time, just in figuring out how we were going to line it up in the schedule for our episodes. But first and foremost, I didn't expect the ugly stalker guy, and I was really upset. He's so ugly.
Why are his eyes over here?
I know, like full fish face. Yeah. And I was like, and honestly, I was like, crazy that Kelly didn't tell me about this guy.
Didn't want to give away the good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that, of course, I'm like, he's disgusting. He has to be the problem. And he was. But then, like, I was similar to you, where I was just like, what's going on? Like, so many different twists and turns. And I think it's been kind of the thing lately where I think what it is because George and I are watching a show that he's already seen all the way through. Mm-hmm. So whenever something crazy is happening, I'm basically asking him to tell me what's going to happen. Yeah. And so I think like I was even asking him like while watching Perfect Blue, which he hadn't seen before, like
but you're like, come on, you have to know this.
I'm
right?
like, you must know, and you have to tell me. Like I need to know what's happening. And so I might have bothered him a little bit while watching the movie, but it was really good, and I totally agree with you where they're able to kind of explore these themes in movies with like through anime that I think it's more comfortable to explore it through anime than it would be to see it as like a live action.
Yeah, that's a good way to phrase it.
If it was live action, then we're kind of perpetuating the same thing that's happening to Mima.
Yeah.
So I think, and I don't think I've seen a lot of animes that are like this kind of like real life adult themed. Like, usually my animes are more about like teenagers saving the world and like stuff like that. Yeah. So I think it was really cool seeing this like really like real world thing. Like this movie could be very well done live action.
Yeah.
But seeing it done through anime, which is such a beautiful art form for one, and then being able to explore it with almost like a level of ethics that's more comfortable than seeing like it in live action was very cool.
Yeah.
Really liked it. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was really good. Sound off in chat if you've seen Perfect Blue and your thoughts.
Yes.
I think that'd be a good contribution too, because it's aesthetically very pleasing, but yeah, it's also just like the story is just and he does a great job. Like he always has female leads. I won't say they're always the most mentally stable, but they're typically like smart, strong, like willed, and I think we really get that with Mima, and just kind of like we don't really get a lot of like Mima's actual feelings until kind of like towards the end, but it's like you see everything she goes through, and it's a lot, and she still like overcomes it. So I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I think that even just putting it that way of these like strong, like even if it's not necessarily like strong in the way that like, they're always able to overcome or whatever, like they're maybe mentally unstable, but they're like complex female characters. And if we really like think about it, this movie totally like passes like the Bechdel test.
Oh, like, absolutely.
Like there's not a single mention of like a love interest at all. So I think that's very interesting for an anime created by a man in the 90s. That's like a pretty big feat. So.
Yeah, it's awesome. And it's actually, Robbie, you saying that, I think I said that to the second time, to my rewatch with Steven, is I said this is like what happened to Selena. She was shot and killed by like her number one fan. Maybe I was talking about another
Selena was her like the like president of her fan club and like assistant. Like they worked really close together. Yeah, I had the same thought where I was like, as soon as Rumi was revealed, I was like, oh, it's so much like Selena. Which when was Selena killed?
I think it was. I'm positive I brought up Selena. I think it was 96. Because I was like, I wonder if he drew inspiration from that. Because Selena had a similar career trajectory too.
1995.
She was like oh, okay. She was a big pop singer, and I think she was going to transition into films. Don't quote me on that though, actually. But yeah, it was really interesting. And Robbie brought this up. Something I really like is it talks about early internet. And that's really neat insight that you don't get in a lot of films. Whereas like it was just like a lot of weird forums and stuff. And kind of like the start of these parasocial relationships, which have totally just are on a whole nother level now. But with Mima's Room, the webpage is such a, well... Do you want to do the little trigger warnings and then we'll just do a quick summary of the movie and then we can get more into it?
Let's do some super fun trigger warnings.
Yeah, definitely need to do those.
So we are going to be talking about sexual assault, cinematic rape and murder. So just keep those things in mind as we are discussing this film. I guess I'll give, while I'm at it, I'll give the
credits.
Information, the credentials of the film. So it's written and directed by Satoshi Kon. He's also made Paranoia Agent, Tokyo Godfathers, Paprika. And the film is starring Junko Iwao as Mima Kirigo, who is also voice actor in Evangelion. Oh my god, I'm about to...
It's okay. Evangelion.
Evangelion. And trigger warning, fucking dope ass movie.
Yeah.
And then Rika Matsumoto was starred as Rumi, and she was actually one of the founders of the Anason Band Jam Project. And Kelly has the nice definition for us that Anason is like was music written for animes or anime music.
Yeah, it's like
that came from J-pop.
It's really I'd never heard of it until I looked her up and I was like, what? I didn't know they had a term for this. Isn't that crazy?
Makes sense. But yeah.
So this movie is a psychological thriller. If you haven't seen it, it's very obvious it is, which is kind of funny because Butterfly Effect, I think, also kind of fell under that umbrella. And this is definitely more of a psychological thriller. This is very true to the psychological thriller.
Yeah, definitely.
Did I not say Evangelion right? Steven should be yelling at me.
I know Robbie sometimes gets us confused, though. So
I'm the top right now, Robbie.
Kelly's up top, and I'm Katie.
Katie's on the bottom. We have totally different bangs. Like, what do you mean you can't tell us apart?
One of us has baby bangs, and one of us has bangs. Evangelion. Okay, so jelly.
I'm a white girl. Give me a break. Kudasai. I'm getting 97% on Duolingo in my Japanese lessons. I'm doing great.
Look at you, crushing it. Good for you.
So J-pop idol Mima retires from her girl group, Cham, to pursue a full-time career in acting at the encouragement of her manager and producers, which I kind of thought was interesting that Cham stayed together after Mima left, because I feel like normally they would try to like replace her, but they were like, nah, we'll just be a duo.
You'd think at least a replacement.
Yeah. Many fans are disappointed in this transition, with fears of it destroying her clean-cut image, specifically a particularly creepy fan, Big Eyes, or Big Spaced Eyes, who refers to himself as Me-Mania. Unsurprisingly, Mima becomes a victim of stalking when she learns of a website called Mima's Room. At first, it seems playful and fun. However, it quickly becomes concerning as it has eerily accurate details about the day in the life of Mima, including which foot she uses to step off the subway. I like how when she first... Yeah, I like when she first kind of went on the website, she's like, oh, hee, this is so neat. And then it was kind of like, wait a minute, what? Wait a minute.
She was like, I don't even realize I do that.
Yeah, and it was such a neat thing to kind of see, like, this early internet when a lot of people really didn't have it. And that's a really good point, Robbie, and I said that to Steven the second watch, is that the biggest thing I noticed between Rumi and Me-Mania is that the space between their eyes is extremely significant, whereas all the other characters have like a pretty normal eye space. Yeah. They both have, so I feel like that's the first tell of like kind of that creepo. He just looks like a creep, like at the intro at the Pops thing. You're just like, why is this creepy
exactly what his deal is.
And he's like this, putting her
in
his hand. So Mima lands a minor role as Yoko in the detective drama TV series Double Bind. At her manager's insistence, Mima secures a larger role. However, this role requires her to film a rape scene at a strip club. Mm-hmm. Despite Rumi's objections, who kind of seems like the only person that's trying to like protect Mima in this transition, Mima ultimately agrees to do the scene, which definitely is more of a, I am an up and coming actress. I've made this huge commitment. I need to do it. If I object, like, it'll probably hurt my career.
Mm-hmm. Which is probably true.
Yeah, she has a huge crash out. Yeah. So Mima films the extremely distressing scene, and it is, and I do want to talk about it a little bit. I know it's a tough scene and stuff, but I think it covers so many interesting things. So first of all, when her manager is like pushing Mima to do the scene, he references 1988, The Accused, Jodie Foster film, where she is based on true crime, a rape victim, and it's a very similar situation. She's like at a bar and is gang raped. And it's, if you guys didn't know, it's the first rape case in the United States where there was actually convictions. 1988, just for the 1983, I think, actually, is when it happened.
Let's all take a moment to just be super bummed about that.
Yeah. And he says, you know, that Foster did this movie, you know, and it ended up getting her an Academy Award. So there's this acknowledgement of her manager saying, you know, yeah, it's not fun, but this is really going to be good for your career. And what's so great about that scene, and great is not the best word, but yeah, Robbie hit it. It feels insanely real.
Yeah, it does.
And it kind of gives you insight on what these actresses have to do to get to do these scenes. You know, it's like Mima has to lay there and scream, and there's even a moment where the rapist says, you know, I'm sorry, and she's like, oh, it's okay, because, you know, it's awkward for everyone involved, but it's such an intense scene that's being filmed that Rumi literally leaves the room. She's so upset, she's sobbing. Even her manager's looking away because it's like too much, it's too real. It's like, even though we all know it's not real, it still feels extremely real. And it I don't know, this is why I have a hard time with rape in movies. I don't really think it's necessary. I think an allusion to it is fine. And I feel like this movie is really kind of like harping on like, do we need this? Like, do we?
Yeah, that's a really good point, because I think that if rape is used in a film to create a certain affect, like specifically to, I think like we're just saying to ourselves, like, watching it was really hard, and that's kind of the point of those scenes, is to drive these points home of how like dramatic that is. And it's like, and seeing it in a film is supposed to give us a way to interact with this experience without it being real. But if watching it is so upsetting, it's now this movie showing us, just imagine how upsetting it is to film that. Like, just imagine, like, even though it is acting, you are still playing it out. Like, you are still experiencing it to some extent.
It kind of makes me call back. It kind of makes me think of Silence, where it's kind of like we're also guilty by like viewing it. So
that's a really good point.
Yeah, it's a really tough scene. I think it's really important though, because I think it's really easy to kind of be blasé and be like, you know, it's not real. But you know, these actors and actresses that are going through it, it's it was very brutal. Like, it was hard to watch. There's no question.
Yeah, absolutely.
So much so, it was so hard that Mima is like clearly like disassociating. You know, she kind of like stares at the light and kind of tunes out. And then this is kind of where we really first see the break in reality to like, we don't really know anymore. Like, Mima goes back to her apartment, freaks out. She's like, of course I didn't want to do the scene. Very distressed, sobbing. And I believe this is the first time we see Mima's ghost, or the real Mima. who kind of just is like, you're dirty, like you're ruining yourself, and kind of further, it's like hard because it's like, is this really like this, is this Mima processing, you know, this trauma that she's getting, or you know, I don't know. I mean, it was just, it's interesting that that's kind of like, we really start seeing the depression set in, and this inability to differentiate what's happening, because she starts losing time too.
Yeah, exactly.
So also in conjunction, after Mima films this really distressing scene, her former pop group Cham is doing great. They're doing the best they've ever done, actually. And we kind of get this cut scene where hi Kira, Mima
entered the cute chat,
kind of like has a little fake reality moment where she's like celebrating with her group, and it's like all happy. So you kind of have this like moment where you're like, oh, there's regret occurring for Mima, like in making this choice. So there's a string of murders that started occurring, and they're all people directly involved with Mima's acting career. First it was like the writer, and then it was like the director or something. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, there was the writer of the scene, and then there was the photographer, or was the photographer?
Oh, you're right. The second one's the photographer, yeah.
Yeah, that took the photos of her that were basically pornography, practically. So.
And the photographer one, that was the Mima finds a bloodied uniform in her closet after various periods of lost time. So, and that's also the thing, is it's kind of like time, it's not like very clear and consistent. So due to her decreasing mental stability, this causes her to question her own memories, as she also seems to recall committing the murder after she was pushed to do a fully nude photo shoot, which Mima really struggled to complete. And so some people like to, I loved the body, really quick, I loved the body in the elevator, and I liked to, that Stephen pointed out, the speakers on the stereo are like really distorted, so it kind of makes it like more scary almost.
Yeah, and the killer is taking out, like stabbing out the eyes, right? Yeah.
Like, and I feel like that's like, very for like intentional.
Yeah, the like basically she's whoever is killing them is because of their perception of the, or the view that they're now imposing on Mima, and therefore they need to have their eyes taken out because their perspective is wrong.
Right. That's a really good way of putting it. So a lot of people will see the parallels in this film and Black Swan. And the Mima photo shoot scene in particular is the main one, where she's in the bathroom and they're trying to get her out of the bathroom. And I think in Black Swan, I haven't seen it in so long, but she writes horror on the window or the mirror. Mima doesn't do this in the this film, but she does see the real Mima, and she's kind of like, you're dirty, like you suck, you're terrible. And eventually does end up finishing the photo shoot, which again is, I think, another nod to the pressures that are put on like up and coming young women. I mean, first of all, Mima's already a J-pop, started out as a J-pop singer who's like painfully infantilized and sexualized, but in a way that's like almost like she's pure, like kind of think of like early Britney Spears, where she had to like be a virgin and all this stuff, but still sexual. So there's this like weird juxtaposition happening.
It's very interesting because the outfits that they come out with in the first performance, yes, is very like childlike, but they're so short. Like they are so like, there's such sexual outfits, and it really does, make a commentary on this idea of how, you know, this is seen as pure, but it's still so hypersexualized.
It's still appealing,
and specifically sexualizing the aesthetic of young girls, not of women. And that's the thing of like, Mima is being portrayed in a way that, yes, maybe Mima doesn't like, which that's the major problem, but it's also like for the fans to have this issue with the portrayal of Mima as a sexual woman that's a whole issue in itself.
Too much autonomy.
Exactly. It's like, I don't want my women sexualized, but girls, okay. Like, it's just...
Well, and even the song that Cham is singing, the lyrics are kind of wild. It's like, something about wanting love, but you have to be more aggressive. So it's kind of like insinuating like this pushy kind of. It makes me think of this. There's this Pink Panther song that Steven listens to a lot. I don't know what it's called. Drop it in the chat, Steven. But the literal lyrics are like, "You want to have sex with me? Then come talk to me." Which is like, what? That's all it takes?
They have a little bit of a higher bar.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's definitely... So, Mima in Cham really makes me think of, like, early Britney Spears, like, kind of playing into this youthful appearance, but still being objectified. But now that Mima's trying to be an actress and having to also still do objectification in a way that she doesn't want to, it's more insidious because it's like, well, now you're fully naked, so there's no illusion now. Now you're we have to actually acknowledge you're a woman. You have pubic hair. So the Cham songs are good, but the lyrics are a little crazy. That's just my opinion. So I'll continue. Despite Mima's mental anguish, she manages to finish shooting for Double Bind, which reveals her character Yoko killed and assumed the identity of her sister after the trauma of the strip club scene. Mima, alone and like very disassociated and kind of like not coping with what's real and what's not, runs into creepy fishman Mimania, who claims he's been speaking to the real Mima, which we do at one point see what his room looks like, and it is it's just covered in Mima.
It's exactly what you think it would be.
It's a little tiny dark hole with Mima
and he's got his eyes on the side of his head so he can see everything all the time.
He's a true predator. He claims he's been speaking to the real Mima via email and is here to eliminate the imposter, which is the Mima we've been following. Mimania, in this attempt to kill her, also attempts to rape her. So now we have moved from the cinematic rape to now Mima is actually dealing with real threat of assault. Very.
And it is kind of like, it's at this point where, or I guess specifically at the point when they're filming the last scene, where it's like the character has a split personality or whatever. But now we also don't know if they're actually talking about the character or Mima, and now we're really starting to wonder what is real and what is this show and stuff like that.
Like, I don't know about you, but for me, like, a lot of the Mima's ghost scenes, I kind of thought were just, like, her internal feelings, like, trying to process, and feeling shame and things of that nature, which is,
definitely.
She is doing stuff that's outside of her comfort zone that she doesn't want to do, but she doesn't feel like she has a voice because, and I should have talked about this earlier or brought it up, because that the whole part where they're talking about Mima doing the scene for the show, Rumi's saying, absolutely not. She came to Japan to be a pop singer, she shouldn't be doing this stuff. And her manager is like, no, this is, brings up the Jodie Foster reference. And at no point is anyone actually asking, like, Mima what she wants, how she feels. Yeah. It's just a yes or no for Mima if she's going to do it. So she really doesn't have, like, autonomy.
Yep.
Which, wow, crazy. A woman, an up-and-coming...
a woman without autonomy.
Yeah, whoa. So original. So Mima manages to escape, thank God, by bludgeoning him over the head with a hammer, which, kind of made it seem like he was dead. And then what we don't see off screen is the real Mima actually does kill him and moves his body. So Rumi finds Mima distressed backstage and states that she will take her to Mima's room. And I didn't catch that the first time I watched it. I was just like, oh, okay, she's taking her home. No.
Yeah.
No.
No.
While there, Mima looks around and realizes, oh wait, this is actually not my room. There's a Cham poster. I haven't had that up for months. What the hell? And it's a copy of her room, almost perfect from when she immediately left Cham. So before she took anything down, it even has the same guppies. It's very creepy.
Yeah.
Mima then sees the real Mima, but while looking in the mirror's reflection, realizes it's actually Rumi. So that was the big twist. Rumi's been the real Mima the whole time. And instantly, begins a violent struggle between Rumi and Mima, which leads to Mima and Rumi running through the streets. As Rumi violently attacks Mima, she gets stabbed 2 times in this attack. During their struggle, at one point, Rumi has Mima pinned and Mima knocks her wig off, and then Rumi just flips. She's like, whoa, because I think it's breaking the illusion for Rumi, too.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
And in this kind of distressed panic, Rumi bends over and accidentally stabs herself in the stomach with glass.
And she does it, she's in like such a chaotic delusion at this point that it's almost like she doesn't realize she stabbed herself.
Yeah, she has like no reaction. She's like, lightweight, no reaction. I just need my wig.
I just need my wig.
So Rumi kind of like in a psychosis, I guess. I don't even know what to call it. Walking
it's out. A psychosis. Yeah.
Walking out to the street with her wig. The way she just like has her arms behind her back, just like gliding, but then you see the actual Rumi and she's like
chaotic running, like real life running.
Yeah,
while we were watching it, George was just like, "There's no way she's just gliding like that. There's no way she's just jumping over buildings like this." He's like, "I need to know what's going on."
Oh, she's sweating.
No, she's like the rest of us.
But I think it does add to that kind of like illusion of how terrifying, like, and how, realistically both of these women are kind of like in a state of delusion. So
and it makes the real Mima, like this pop idol Mima, uncanny in a way, which I think is kind of what the commentary of the film is that these idol versions of these celebrities aren't real.
No.
And in fact are kind of uncanny if we're buying into them being real.
Absolutely, because I mean, I hate to always bring it back to Britney, but I think Britney is such like a good because I mean we saw her outcome, and Britney had a similar trajectory, like young pop singer turned actress, never really got considered famous or anything, but eventually. She went through a lot of similar things that Mima experienced, just constant sexualization, being 17 years old and being asked in interviews if she had real boobs, like it just the craziest things that a teenager should never have to do. And that's why I like referring to it as Mima's ghost, is because she does kind of have this like ethereal glow going on. So it's like, I think that's why it makes it hard to determine if this is just Mima's delusions or, I'm still not totally clear if all the scenes in which Mima sees the real Mima, if it's actually just Rumi being like a fucking cunt, or if it's both. If sometimes it is Rumi and sometimes it's Mima's like own copes. I mean, the mirror was definitely Mima's own cope, but
I was gonna say, because even at was it at one point Mima's looking in her reflection like on the basically like the subway, and the reflection starts talking back to her like as the real Mima, and so it's in those moments where it's like that can't be Rumi, like how would that possibly be Rumi? So it is kind of, it's almost like Rumi becomes this manifestation of the figurative real Mima that Mima herself is struggling with. And then just becomes real.
Because even Mania sees Mima's ghost. Like when he's like reading the emails and doing the Mima's Room website, there's a part where she like jumps out of the computer and she's like, you're gonna have to kill this whore.
You're just gonna have to do it.
You're just simply gonna have to do it. So Rumi's been stabbed. She has her wig. She walks out to the street, and you have this moment where you kind of see it. I feel like you see it from Rumi's perspective, where she feels like she's a J-pop idol on the screen, or stage rather. And she has the truck lights coming at her, and she's kind of like this, like soaking in the applause. And then Mima saves her life, which was crazy.
I was so worried that Mima was going to get hit by the truck saving her. I was like, God damn it. But luckily no.
But Mima saves her life because she She's just that awesome. And
she's just that good.
Then we fast forward a little bit. It's been a few months later, and Mima not only saves Rumi's life, but she visits this fucking crazy bitch in the mental institution. Again.
Yeah, why?
Could never be me. I'd be like, no, fuck that bitch.
I'd let her get hit by the truck.
I did say, though, think about how good that's going to be for Mima's career, that she survived, like, these two crazy stalkers that tried. Like, that's goated. That's going to make...
that's career making, unfortunately.
Oh, for sure. Like, it makes me think there's some show that I feel... Maxine, because Maxine talks about her dad and that whole thing and how overcoming that, it like totally boosts her career. It's very similar.
Yep, absolutely. Exactly.
So Mima talks to the doctor, Rumi's doctor, and he's like, yeah, you know, most of the time she still thinks she's a J-pop idol. Cuckoo.
Anything to get through the day, you know?
Girl, whatever. She's in an institution.
She can do whatever she wants now.
So Mima is leaving the institution. You see some nurses go, oh my God, that's Mima, da 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 da. And then she gets in her car and she looks at her reflection in the mirror and she smiles and she says, no, I am the real thing. The end. Lighthearted. Lighthearted
all
film.
Happy and fine at the end. Yeah. Well, I know we both like read articles and stuff I basically read an article to be like, what the fuck's going on in this movie?
Oh, okay.
And I mean, I think that there are clear interpretations, but I think I've read this one article that I do have an issue with because it says that the popular interpretation is the wrong interpretation, which I hate when people say a wrong interpretation because all interpretations can be accurate. But this was an essay called Surreal Idol by Meg Sipos, just a blog called The Other Folk. But I thought it was really interesting because she brought in the idea of the alienation, like the Brechtian alienation effect happening in this film, which I'm a slut for Brechtian alienation effects and critical analysis, so I had to read it. But what she was saying was that in this film, the goal was to remind viewers that they're engaged with constructed fantasies, and they have to separate themselves from these fantasies and break the spells of immersion and suspended disbelief, that's basically the goal of the alienation effect. And through this kind of like absurdity of this like ghost Mima, all these different kinds of Mima. George, sorry,
he's getting a beating after this.
So it's just kind of like all the times when we're not sure what the hell is going on, we're basically being removed from the fantasy itself, and that's kind of this like forcing us to again recognize that we are engaging with a fantasy. But then also this idea, it's kind of this commentary being made that these parasocial relationships are kind of manifesting fantasies into reality that become like very real for these fans that don't actually exist. And I mean,
it does. That's very true.
And like you said, it's such a huge prevalent thing today because you think like we have such easy access to celebrities and we're able to create personalities based on the little bits of information that we're given, which at least half the time is going to be curated by the celebrity or their team to market it in the way that you want. But it's becoming manifested as this very real thing for the person that I think in this article there's kind of they're debating whether or not that fantasy is in fact fully fantasy and not manifested to some reality because of how the person engages with it. So like, for instance, if someone is a very big fan of someone and they have manifested this parasocial relationship, which I think everyone is guilty of at some point in their lives, whether when they're younger or whatever. But what that figure begins to mean for the person who is manifesting this image is very real and an important thing that can be engaged with for the person. But it can also be taken to these very extreme and dangerous extents, as we see in this movie, that it becomes very important for those moments where the real breaks through and breaks the fantasy, and we're able to kind of like, I guess, take stock of what it is that we're actually engaging with.
So yeah, I think I just realized who did a real chiseler is. Is that Leo? Oh my god, now Leo knows my face. Yeah, I do think like Mima probably does have a little bit of like imposter syndrome too, probably going on. And I'm sure like, I mean, I'm not Mima, but it would pay me if like the second I left my band and had to do this awful, horrible rape scene for a film, and then they're like in the charts celebrating, and I'm kind of like, like, you know, there probably is, and we do have these instances where it's like, it seems like she never overtly says it, but since we have so much of like Mima's POV, you know, we know there's feelings of regret, and like, you know, ultimately she does want to be an actress, so she goes through it all, but you know, it wasn't so bad in Cham after all. And it was bad in Cham, you know, she's infantilized, she's singing these songs that like, it looked like the equivalent for us would be like, I thought of like SeaWorld or Six Flags or something. People are throwing cans at her on stage. You know, which is a form of violence pop singers still experience. I think like Biba Rexha just had someone throw something at her head not that long ago. So like, please stop throwing things at women. Just let them, if you don't like it, go. I don't know.
Yeah, why are you there? Why did you pay for tickets to be there?
Yeah, no one wants you there, bro. Yeah, so it is kind of interesting to think about, you know, the intensity of these parasocial relationships and how dangerous they get. And we see that really with Me Mania. And it's funny because his is so, it's so like, it's not even the 2000s yet. So it's such a early, I can't think of the word right now, but like an early version of it. And now, like you had mentioned, we have social media and stuff where people really feel like they get to know their celebrities, and their celebrities get to do these bullshit apologies. Sorry, bringing it back to Ashton Kutcher. I always think of his bullshit apology for defending an actual predator, where they like, and it is so curated, like it's so intentional, like they even, you know, break it down. It's like they try to, you know, they're outside, him and who's this wife again? Mila Kunis, right?
Mila Kunis, yeah.
You know, they're outside their home and they look kind of disheveled, and they're just like, oh, you know, it's like we didn't know that, and their apology was such bullshit.
It's so stupid.
They're like, we didn't know anyone would see that we were defending him. Basically, we thought those letters were just for a judge, which
that doesn't make it better.
No, it certainly doesn't, especially because Ashton Kutcher ran one of the biggest organizations in the United States that was trying to keep kids out of sex trafficking, which really makes you wonder if what he was really doing. Because Ashton Kutcher has a kind of weird past in general, and this is not alleged, but there was a woman he dated that was murdered, and they were supposed to go on a date, and she was murdered, and he called his lawyer. He called his lawyer when he showed up to her house before he called the cops, and he was not guilty, but that is very weird coincidence.
That's a crazy move. Yeah, it's a crazy move.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, Mima, it does definitely, and I think that's something that Steven and I talked about while we were watching it, is like Mima is so alone. It's like, Rumi's on her side, but really Rumi's the main villain. And that's the thing, is like, I think that's why it's so easy for Mima to descend into this like mental instability, is her isolation. You see like characteristic traits of extreme depression. Her room progressively gets more and more clustered with more stuff. She's losing time. And she's, you know, Cham has each other. I forgot their names. I think it's like Ray and something else. They have each other, so they get to celebrate these moments. But Mima really doesn't have anyone, and the only time she gets celebrated is after filming the rape scene, her manager's like, all right, I'm gonna go take you out for food, and she goes, oh, lucky. And that's literally the only time you see Mima kind of like celebrated for the stuff she's going through.
Yeah, and it feels like for most of the film that Rumi is kind of like, I think that it feels like Rumi is the only one looking out for her, because Mima does have a phone call with her mother after the last Cham show, where her mom is like, but you always wanted to be a singer. And so Rumi advocating for Mima still being a singer, well, I guess idol instead of singer, but feels like Rumi is advocating for what Mima actually wants. And it really is up until Rumi takes Mima back to Mima's room that you fully realize, like, Rumi is not invested in Mima the person. Rumi is invested in this parasocial, like she needs the idol to exist. Like, and it's the kind of thing where, like, if she can't have Mima be the real Mima anymore, then she is going to become Mima. She has to manifest this version of Mima into existence. And I think that that's another thing that this article I was reading was talking about, was like this whole idea of, is this like the real Mima, like this ghost Mima, is it always just Rumi, or is it this like figurative manifestation or whatever? And what they're kind of arguing is that in this kind of like Brechtian theater of the absurd way, it's everything. It is Mima herself projecting, like, in this self-talk. It is Rumi actually showing up in places dressed as Mima, and it is this almost like dream manifestation of ghost Mima as well. And it's like always interchanging, and it's kind of showing that like all of these versions of it can exist. And then this ghost Mima acts as that manifestation of when we kind of like believe things so hard into reality that they might as well be real. They might as well be like tangible, manifested tangibly.
I kind of feel like the ghost Mima is the thread between Rumi and Mima too, because Mima has memories of killing the photographer. And that was definitely Rumi who did it, and then planted the clothes in her bedroom to like further kind of make Mima. But we very much see the scene. It looks like Mima, and then Mima's kind of like, "Oh my god, I did do this, holy!" Like, so
and that means that she could see a reality in which she did do it.
Yes,
like Rumi is doing things that Mima herself, whether it's like, we want to say like, they have all these different versions of Mima. I'm throwing out another one. This id Mima basically is like, the id Mima would do that, and Rumi is acting on that. So in a way that this idol Mima, ghost Mima, whatever, is an aspect of the real Mima.
Definitely.
It's just, there's too much in my brain.
So it's very layered. No, it's a very. I definitely feel like watching it twice is a minimum because of how much is going on, and there's so many little details I missed the first time. And yeah, Mimi's been here for about half of it. He loves being.
We got Mima and Mimi.
We got the Mima and the Mimi. So I read a different thing. I read something else. And I'll just really quickly. Well, I did make a note of this, and I do think it's an interesting thing to bring up. We could just quickly talk about it, but it's a common occurrence for up-and-coming actresses to play characters who must overcome sexual violence. So one argument is that these women are not damsels; they overcome. I think of I Spit on Your Grave, but it's in dozens of movies. That's just the first movie that came up to my mind, where it's like these women have to experience something so horrifically violent and traumatic that they have to get autonomy and fight for themselves and kind of get their own retribution for it. However, my pushback to this is, why is female empowerment always rooted in violence, specifically sexual violence?
Yep.
I acknowledge that Mima was almost assaulted, but ultimately the person who was really perpetuating violence against her was another woman, and it was just physical in the sense of like stabbing, not sexual, like penetration.
Yeah.
And that is very interesting to me that, I don't know, I know it's not a new take, so I'm going to take total ownership to that, but it is fucking exhausting, especially as a woman, and when I think of myself as a younger woman, that every goddamn time I see an empowered woman, it's typically like a direct result of her experiencing extreme sexual violence. It's just like, I don't know, like, can we just like, I don't know, overcoming your mental illnesses is pretty empowering.
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. Yeah. I do want, since Steven's jokingly talking shit, I do just want to comment on Leo's comment of the two stalkers contrasting persona obsession versus sexual obsession.
That's really good.
Yeah, I like that. Also think it doesn't just contrast it, it shows where they overlap and link up. So I think it definitely shows almost like the multifaceted predatory nature of these different kinds of obsessions, of these parasocial relationships and celebrity and stuff. But yeah, totally this idea that, you know, women earn their place by overcoming sexual violence. Yet women are not supposed to be sexual to be valuable, yet women's only value is in their sexuality. And it's like just a never-ending cycle of hypocrisy. And you see that within the film. They're just, you know, Mima's career can only take off if she performs this specific role. But her value to all of her old fans plummets because she took on this role.
Yeah, so. And rude. I didn't talk about that in the summary, but there is several instances where we see the former fans and they're kind of bad-mouthing Mima and, you know, just kind of trash-talking her, essentially. Yeah.
Even the Cham
her friends, are like...
Yeah.
God, what did they say? Because they were like, oh, you know what kind of photography he does. And they were just kind of like, yeah, well, she has no problem with that. And it's like, damn, exactly. Okay, bestie.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just, there's no winning. And yes, this is definitely like a commentary on celebrity and like women's celebrity. But I mean, it's also, it is just what women experience. It's the experience of being a woman. Which I think, you know, we're about at the hour mark. I think that kind of will help us segue really well into our next film that we're going to be discussing next week, which is going to be, was it 2024 film?
I think
it was 2024. Yeah. Let me look it up. I'm going to look it up real quick. It was 2024 film, Anora. So we are going to be discussing that one next week, and
that will actually be on Thursday. Sorry, I've had some stuff going on.
And it was a man that's caused all of this shit. So just so you know, typical. But no, we will have a new episode that we're calling like From the Vault, because it's an episode we recorded so long ago. Will be coming out on Tuesday for Cruel Intentions. It is another roast.
Yes, blessed with so many roasts.
Yeah. So terrified about what we're gonna say about Anora. We'll hold till next week. But yeah, so Cruel Intentions on Tuesday, Anora on Thursday. We'll still have I think 3 more weeks total of backlogged episodes, so you'll have 3 weeks of 2 episodes a week, and then we'll be back on just our weekly live episodes. But thank you everyone so much for tuning in. Is there anything else that you want to say about Perfect Blue, Kelly?
It's good. I really like it.
2 thumbs up, 5 stars.
10 stars.
10 stars. All the stars.
And watch his other movies. I really like them. Paranoid Agent's great. Paprika's great. Tokyo Godfathers made me cry. It's like very sweet. Millennium Actress is good. Does good stuff.
Oh, I do think Robbie asked a question earlier about that this perfectly would be a good like intro to anime, and he asked what our first animes were.
Ooh. Do you want to go first? I got to think about mine for a minute.
The first one I truly, truly hardcore committed to was Attack on Titan. I know that I've seen like Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that, like in the past, being a 90s kid. But the anime that made me fall in love with anime was Attack on Titan, which I have my Attack on Titan.
Oh yeah, the
My Chemical Romance art. Yeah, it's right back there. So I'll claim AOT as my first real huge anime.
Full Metal Alchemist. Full Metal Alchemist. So my first anime, which I didn't really realize it was an anime because I watched it as a teenager on Adult Swim, was Lupin the Third.
Oh, right.
Which came out in like the 70s. And I loved Lupin. He was like this French-Japanese guy who was a thief, and he had this girl he's obsessed with named Fujiko that he called Fuji Cakes. Don't know how I didn't process that any of this was an anime, but I definitely obviously watched the dub. But then I watched some animes kind of here and there, and then when I started dating Steven, then...
Yeah, that's your whole life now is anime and going to Japan and all that.
Yeah. So the first anime that really I loved and liked and made me go, okay, anime is good was Nana.
Oh, yeah.
Nana.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Big fan.
So freaking good.
Yeah, you've been trying to get me on that. So
I've been trying to get every woman to watch Nana.
I know.
It's so good and cute, like the first third of the film and the show, and then the last two, you're just like, I just want them to be happy. But it's good.
I know. That's typically how it goes. But yeah.
I saw
thank you for tuning in. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just responding. Is that the 2007 Lupin movie? I never saw the whole thing, but I did see part of it, and it was really good. I need to finish it. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. I apologize.
No, I was just going to wrap it up, but if you have more stuff to say.
Wrap it up. That's all I'm going to say.
We're wrapping it up. So thank you again to Steven for our intro and collecting all of those quotes from those celebrities, those pillars
so much Hollywood interviewing he had to do
that really they just are such big fans of us.
It's crazy.
And my favorite is that we have inspired Mel Gibson to apologize for how he treated his wife. 20 years later. Yeah. And someone please watch Blue Lock so George has someone to talk about Blue Lock with. And so yeah, thanks Steven for literally
everything.
Everything. This is gone from recording episodes over my kitchen table in my apartment to yes, we're remote, but we are look how beautiful this all looks. This is so fun and cool, and Steven has really changed the game for us, and we're super appreciative. Yes.
Arigato.
You got a good one. I got a good
one. Alrighty, guys. Well, until next time, we'll see you next Thursday.
New episode Tuesday. New live.